Many people go through life waiting for the right time, the right moment, the right level of confidence, or the perfect circumstances to begin something new. But the truth is, that moment rarely arrives. Readiness, as most people define it, is a myth. It's an illusion we create to delay action, a safe excuse that comforts us while we stand still. But growth does not happen in stillness. Progress doesn't wait for us to feel ready. It happens the moment we decide to move forward, ready or not. When we say, "I'm not ready," what we often mean is that we're scared. We fear failure, embarrassment, judgment, or the unknown. So we label it as unreadiness and tell ourselves we'll start when things feel more certain. But life doesn't come with guarantees, and certainty is often a luxury that comes after we take action, not before. In truth, the only way to become ready is by starting. Doing prepares you far more than thinking ever will. Look at the people who have achieved great things, entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, leaders. They didn't begin with perfect knowledge or complete confidence. They took the leap despite their doubts. They made mistakes, learned lessons, and grew stronger. They gained readiness through action, not through delay. If they had waited to feel ready, they might still be waiting today. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not bridged by time. It is bridged by action. There's also a myth that preparation equals readiness. While preparation is important, it should not become a trap. Too often, people get stuck in the cycle of over-planning, researching, and analyzing every possible outcome. They convince themselves they're being productive, but they're really avoiding the vulnerability that comes with starting. You can read every book on swimming, but you won't learn how to swim until you get in the water. Experience is the best teacher, and experience only comes when you take that first step, however unprepared you may feel. This idea applies to every area of life: starting a new career, entering a relationship, speaking in public, learning a skill, or chasing a dream. There is no ideal moment. The perfect time is just an excuse that hides fear. If you wait until the stars align, you may watch your opportunities pass you by. The truth is, you have everything you need to begin: courage, curiosity, and a willingness to grow. That is enough. That is always enough. Starting before you are ready is not reckless. It is brave. It says, "I trust myself enough to figure it out along the way." It means you understand that mistakes are part of the journey, not proof that you failed. It means you're willing to be uncomfortable in the short term for the sake of long-term growth. And it means you're not waiting for life to give you permission. You're giving it to yourself. The myth of readiness holds so many people back from becoming who they are meant to be. Don't let it stop you. If there's something inside you, an idea, a dream, a desire, start now. Take one small step and then another. You don't need to see the whole path. Just trust that each step will lead you where you need to go. Readiness is not a requirement. Action is. Would you like a short summary of this passage, or want it translated into Urdu? Many people believe that confidence is something you must have before you begin. They think only confident people can stand on a stage, launch a business, start a new career, or speak up for themselves. But the truth is, confidence doesn't magically appear before you act. It grows through action. Real, lasting confidence is not built by thinking or waiting. It is earned through doing. When you first try something new, it's normal to feel uncertain or even scared. Your inner voice might whisper, "What if I fail?" or "What if I embarrass myself?" That fear is natural, and it often disguises itself as a lack of confidence. But if you allow that fear to stop you from acting, you'll never give yourself the chance to succeed, or even to improve. Confidence doesn't come from avoiding those uncomfortable feelings. It comes from moving forward despite them. The first step is always the hardest because it carries the weight of all your doubts. But once you take that step, something changes. You prove to yourself that fear doesn't control you. You realize that you can handle uncertainty, And even if you stumble, you learn something valuable, and that lesson becomes part of your confidence. Every small success, every bit of progress, strengthens your belief in yourself. Think about a child learning to ride a bicycle. At first, they wobble and fall. They're scared, unsure, and they look to their parent for reassurance. But with each try, they get better. They begin to balance. They pedal a little farther, and eventually they ride on their own. That confidence didn't come before they got on the bike. It was built through the experience of trying, failing, adjusting, and trying again. Adults are no different. Whether it's giving a presentation, starting a new hobby, learning a language, or leading a team, confidence builds the same way, by showing up, putting in effort, and learning through repetition. It's like building muscle at the gym. The more you work at it, the stronger you become. You don't get stronger by thinking about lifting weights. You get stronger by lifting them, even when they feel heavy. Another important truth is that failure is part of building confidence. Most people fear failure because they believe it proves they're not good enough. But in reality, failure is just feedback. It's information that helps you improve. When you fail and get back up, you develop resilience, and resilience is a key part of true confidence. It tells you, even when things don't go perfectly, I can still keep going. Over time, as you collect more experiences, you start to believe in your ability to figure things out. That belief becomes your inner foundation. You don't need to know everything in advance. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing to try, to learn, and to grow. That willingness, combined with consistent action, is what turns self-doubt into self-assurance. So, if you're waiting to feel confident before you begin, stop waiting. Take the first step, even if it's small. Speak up, try something new, challenge yourself. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be brave enough to act. Because every time you act, you gain a little more strength, a little more courage, and a little more belief in yourself. And that is how confidence is truly built. Not before the journey, but through it. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions we experience. It's wired into our brains to keep us safe from danger. But in today's world, the fears we face are often not about physical survival. They're about failure, rejection, embarrassment, or stepping into the unknown. Still, our brains react the same way, as if we're facing a life-threatening situation. We feel the fear and instinctively want to stop, turn around, or delay. But here's the truth: fear is not always a warning to stop. Sometimes fear is a signal telling us that we're about to grow. When you feel fear, it means you're about to step into a space that challenges you. It means you're moving towards something that matters. That's why fear shows up when you're about to give a speech, start a new job, launch an idea, express your feelings, or chase a dream. These are not dangerous actions, but they carry emotional risks that are tied to your identity, your confidence, and your comfort zone. And that's exactly why fear appears, not because something bad will happen, but because something important might. Too often, people treat fear as a stop sign. They believe that feeling afraid means they're not ready. They wait for the fear to go away before they act, thinking they need to feel brave before they begin, but the fear rarely disappears on its own. If anything, it grows stronger the longer you wait. What people don't realize is that courage doesn't come before the action. It comes with the action. You feel the fear, and you do it anyway, and that decision, to move forward despite fear, is what builds strength. Fear, when seen correctly, can actually become a guide. If you're afraid of speaking in public, maybe that's because your voice matters and you want to make an impact. If you're afraid to start a business, maybe it's because you care deeply about your idea and fear losing it. If you're scared to change your life, it may mean that you're standing at the edge of something better. The fear doesn't mean stop. It means pay attention. something significant is ahead. By shifting your relationship with fear, you unlock your potential. Instead of avoiding fear, you start to recognize it as a signpost, pointing you toward growth, challenge, and opportunity. Of course, not all fear is helpful. Sometimes it's rational, like the fear of a dangerous situation, but most of the time, especially when it comes to goals, dreams, and self-improvement, fear is just your brain reacting to discomfort and uncertainty. And the only way to deal with that kind of fear is to walk through it. Walking through fear doesn't mean being fearless. It means acting with fear sitting in the passenger seat, not letting it drive your decisions. Each time you face what you fear, the fear gets smaller. You gain experience, you gain clarity, and most importantly, you gain confidence. You start to realize that fear was never the enemy. The real enemy is inaction. The biggest regrets in life often come not from the things we tried and failed at, but from the things we never dared to try. Fear may never fully disappear, but it can be managed, challenged, and even respected. It shows you what matters. It keeps you alert. And when you choose to walk forward anyway, it becomes a source of energy instead of a wall. So the next time fear shows up, don't stop. Listen to it, learn from it, and then step forward. Because fear is not the end of the road. It's the beginning of a journey worth taking. Success is often misunderstood. Many people believe that in order to achieve something great, they must first be perfect. They think every skill must be mastered, every plan flawlessly designed, and every doubt completely erased. But this belief holds people back. The truth is, success has never belonged to the perfect. It belongs to the brave. It belongs to those who dare to try, fail, learn, and try again. Success requires courage, not perfection. Perfection is an illusion. It's a moving target that can never truly be reached. No matter how much you prepare or how hard you try, there will always be room for improvement. Waiting for perfection often leads to delay, hesitation, and missed opportunities. People spend so much time trying to perfect their ideas, their appearance, or their path that they never actually start. They fear making mistakes or being judged, so they stay quiet, stay small, and stay stuck. Courage, on the other hand, is real and within everyone's reach. It's the ability to take action despite fear, uncertainty, or self-doubt. Courage is what pushes a person to speak up when they're nervous, to try again after failure, or to keep going even when the road is tough. Where perfection seeks control and safety, courage embraces risk and growth. And growth is where success is born. Take a moment to look at the world's most successful people. Whether in business, art, science, or sports, none of them started perfectly. Most of them failed, often more than once. But what set them apart was not their ability to avoid mistakes. It was their willingness to keep moving forward in spite of them. They were not fearless. They were courageous. Consider an artist showing their work to the world for the first time. It's not perfect. It may have flaws, but it's real and it's shared. That takes courage. Or think of someone launching a business, unsure of how the market will respond. They don't have all the answers, but they believe enough to begin. That's courage. Perfection might delay them forever, but courage gets them started. Success is built on action, and action is messy. It includes wrong turns, missteps, and uncomfortable lessons. But these are not signs of failure. They are signs of effort, and effort is what moves us forward. Courage accepts that mistakes will happen. It understands that imperfection is part of the process. In fact, imperfection is what teaches us the most valuable lessons. Another danger of chasing perfection is the pressure it creates. When someone believes they must be perfect, they fear being seen as weak or flawed. This pressure leads to stress, burnout, and often silence. People hold back ideas, hide their struggles, and pretend to be something they're not. But when someone chooses courage over perfection, they allow themselves to be real. They open up to learning, to help, and to connection. And this honesty is far more powerful than a perfect image. Courage also inspires others. When people see someone trying bravely, failing openly, and continuing anyway, they feel encouraged to do the same. It creates a ripple effect showing others that it's okay not to be perfect, and that progress matters more than polish. So remember this, you do not have to be flawless to move forward. You do not need to have all the answers to start. What you need is the courage to begin, to risk imperfection, and to keep showing up. Let go of the myth of perfection. Embrace the power of courage, because in the end, it's not the perfect people who succeed, it's the bold ones. Many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment, that magical time when everything feels just right, when they're fully prepared, when conditions are ideal, and when success seems guaranteed. But here's the truth, the perfect moment rarely comes on its own. Life doesn't pause until you're ready. It keeps moving, and opportunities come and go. Those who succeed are not the ones who wait for the perfect moment. They are the ones who create it. Waiting can feel safe. It gives the illusion of control. You tell yourself, I'll do it when I have more time, or I'll start when I feel more confident, or I'll go for it when things calm down. But these are often just excuses disguised as patience. There is always going to be something imperfect in your circumstances, a distraction, a doubt, or a responsibility. If you wait for everything to be flawless, you'll be waiting forever. Creating the perfect moment means taking action in the now, not in some distant future. It means looking at what you have, where you are, and who you are at this very moment, and choosing to begin anyway. It's about making the most of what's in front of you instead of wishing for something else. It's not about waiting for the stars to align. It's about aligning yourself with your goals, your courage, and your purpose. Think of any major achievement, invention, or movement in history. They didn't begin under perfect conditions. They were started by people who took a step forward despite uncertainty. Entrepreneurs launched businesses without perfect business plans. Writers wrote their first drafts without knowing if anyone would read them. Leaders made decisions without guarantees. The moment became perfect because they acted, not the other way around. When you decide to act, even in small ways, you begin to shift your energy. You build momentum. You signal to yourself and the world that you are serious about your intentions. That action, however small, starts a chain reaction. One step leads to another, and suddenly, the moment you were waiting for starts to form, because you made it happen. Creating the perfect moment also requires letting go of perfectionism. It's easy to believe that you need to be more skilled, more informed, or more experienced before you start. But experience comes from doing. Skills improve through practice. Clarity comes by moving forward. If you wait to be ready, you'll never get there. If you start now, you give yourself the chance to learn, grow, and adapt. Another key to creating the perfect moment is presence. When you are fully present in what you are doing, focused, committed, and engaged, you transform even the most ordinary situations into meaningful opportunities. You stop comparing your moment to someone else's. You stop worrying about what might go wrong. Instead, you focus on what you can do right here and now. People often look back on their lives and realize that the moments that changed everything didn't look perfect at the time. They were messy, uncertain, even scary. But those were the moments when they said yes to themselves and yes to life. And that choice made all the difference. So stop waiting for that perfect time to write the book, start the project, make the call, or follow your dream. Life is happening right now. The only moment you truly own is this one. Choose to make it count. Take the first step. Start the conversation. Begin the journey. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it. From a young age, we're conditioned to seek permission. In school, we raise our hands before speaking. At home, we ask before going out. At work, we wait for approval before acting. Over time, This pattern becomes so deeply ingrained that we start believing we need permission for everything, including the dreams we carry inside us. But the truth is, when it comes to your goals, your passions, and your potential, you don't need anyone's permission to begin. Far too many people wait for someone to say, "You're ready," or "You're allowed," or "Now is the right time." They wait for validation from a boss, a teacher, a parent, a friend, or even society. But waiting for someone else to tell you it's okay to start is the fastest way to stall your own growth. No one else can see the vision you hold. No one else understands your dreams the way you do. That's because those dreams were given to you, not them. You don't need a degree, a certificate, or a title to start pursuing what matters to you. You don't need the approval of critics or the blessing of the world. What you need is belief in yourself and the willingness to start messy, imperfect, and unsure. Every great idea, every passion project, every success story begins with a simple decision to start, not to wait, not to ask, just to begin. Many people delay action because they're afraid of being judged. They fear that others will question their choices or mock their ambition. But the truth is, the people who matter most will support your courage, not your perfection. And those who criticize often do so because they're too afraid to take action themselves. Their opinions don't define your path. You do. Giving yourself permission means trusting your instincts. It means realizing that you are already enough to take the first step. You don't need to know everything before you start. In fact, most of the clarity and confidence you seek will come only after you begin. The path becomes clearer through walking, not waiting. Every mistake, every lesson, every success along the way teaches you more than any permission ever could. Starting without permission is an act of empowerment. It says, "I own my life, I choose my direction." It shifts the power back to you where it has always belonged. You stop living by other people's timelines and begin creating your own. You stop asking, "Can I?" and start declaring, "I will." That shift in mindset can change everything. Consider the artists, entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers who have made a difference in the world. They didn't wait for someone to tell them they were ready. They acted on a dream, a vision, a feeling. They gave themselves the freedom to try, to fail, to grow, and to succeed, and you can do the same. It's not about recklessness, it's about ownership. You don't need to wait until your plan is perfect, your fears are gone, or your path is completely clear. You only need the courage to start right where you are, with what you have. Because the most important step is always the first one, so stop waiting for permission that will never come. You are the author of your own life. You get to decide when to begin, and if you're looking for a sign, this is it. Take the leap, follow the spark, and trust yourself. You don't need permission to become who you were meant to be. You just need to begin.